So today we're going to dive into something really personal, something that a lot of us have felt but maybe couldn't quite name. It's called childhood emotional neglect. And it's this invisible wound, right? Something that shapes our adult lives in ways we might not even see. Let's really get into what that means.
You know that feeling, that nagging sense of emptiness, like there's a hole inside you, but you have no idea how it got there or what's supposed to fill it. If you've ever felt that, believe me, you are not alone. And actually, psychology shows us that this feeling, this emptiness, often links up with some really specific patterns. Things like chronic loneliness or a constant anxiety that just won't quit. Maybe for you, it's this deep fear of being rejected. Or, hey, maybe you're the classic people pleaser, always putting others first. Or you just find it almost impossible to truly trust someone.
But here's a wild thought. What if the cause of all this isn't something bad that happened to you? What if it's the absence of something you really needed? That's the whole idea we're unpacking here. An invisible wound that's not from a specific event, but from a void.
And listen, this is not some rare thing we're talking about. Researchers looked at a ton of studies, and the numbers are pretty staggering. Nearly 1 in 5 adults across the globe, that's 18%, might have gone through this. It's like a silent epidemic hiding in plain sight.
So what do we call this invisible wound? It's childhood emotional neglect, or CEN. And here's the absolute key to understanding it. CEN is not about what your parents did. It's all about what they didn't do. It's their failure to notice, to validate, and to respond enough to your feelings as a kid. It's an act of omission, not commission.
This quote just nails it. Our childhood doesn't just give us memories, it literally builds the wiring in our brains. Things like stress, or even just the simple lack of emotional support, can actually hardwire our fight or flight response, basically getting us ready for a world that our brain thinks is unsafe or just doesn't care.
And the fallout from that? Well, it can be huge. CEM has a direct hit on our emotional intelligence. I mean, think about it. If your feelings were ignored when you were a kid, it makes perfect sense that you'd struggle to even name what you're feeling as an adult. And from there, it can spiral into having a tough time with empathy, controlling your emotions, and of course, that deep, deep difficulty in trusting other people. Okay, now it's really important to draw a line here, because neglect and abuse are not the same thing. They're two totally different kinds of wounds. Research puts it like this. Neglect is an experience of deprivation. It's a lack of something you need. Abuse, on the other hand, is an experience of threat. It's the presence of something harmful. And these two different paths, they mess with our heads in very different ways. Emotional neglect, that tends to chip away at our ability to see things from someone else's point of view, to feel compassion, to feel for them. Emotional abuse, though, that often triggers this crushing personal distress. It makes you feel like the person who's in pain, and that feeling can be so overwhelming, so paralyzing, that you can't even step in to help. And you can kind of see from this idea here, the end result is often the same. It doesn't matter if the path was deprivation or a threat. Both types of childhood trauma can lead you right to the same spot, a weaker ability to connect with and help other people, what scientists call pro-social behavior. A lot of this comes from a lifetime of just burying our own feelings to get by, but those emotions, they don't just vanish into thin air. Like this quote says, the stuff we push down inside, it subconsciously leaks out through our actions, our habits, and even right on our faces whether we want it to or not. And this emotional leakage, believe it or not, it has a name. It's called a microexpression. It's this super brief, totally involuntary facial expression that flashes across your face in less than half a second. It happens when you're trying to hide how you really feel, and for just a split second, your true emotion breaks right through the mask. And researchers have found that there are 7 universal emotions that these little expressions give away. Doesn't matter what culture you're from, they're kind of the basic building blocks of our secret emotional language. You've got disgust, anger, fear, sadness, happiness, contempt, and surprise.
Now here's a super important point. Seeing a microexpression of, say, fear doesn't mean someone is lying. It just means they're hiding fear. It's a clue that there's more going on under the surface, that some information is being held back, but it doesn't tell you why.
Okay, I know. After all that, it can feel like our childhood wiring is just permanent, but it's not. And this is the most empowering part of this whole thing. As adults, we are not trapped. We have the power, right now, to consciously choose to heal. So how do we even start? Well, there are some really powerful ways. It can start with something as simple as introspection.
just taking time to understand your own patterns. Or it could be trying mindfulness, learning to actually sit with your emotions instead of running from them. And of course, working with a therapist can be a total game changer. The goal is always the same, to build that muscle of self-awareness one moment at a time.
So I want to leave you with this one last thing to think about. Our relationships, they're like mirrors, right? They reflect back to us who we are. So when you look into that mirror, who do you want to see looking back at you? An authentic person, connected, aware? Because now the choice is yours to make.